From Volusia to Chico, Williams Grove to Knoxville, and all dirt tracks in between and beyond. This is Winged Nation. 1 full hour of news and interviews with today's top dirt drivers. Now, your award-winning hosts, Steve Post and Kendra Jacobs.
Hello again. Welcome in. It's Wing Nation on MRN.com, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. Kendra Jacobs and Steve Post here, and we are covering the gamut today. We're going to talk to a young racer from I-30 Speedway in Little Rock. It's the Short Track Nationals, the big one this weekend coming up. He's the track champion, and he's going to try to defend the home turf this weekend. Zach Pringle is going to join us. John Naida is the president of Sprints on Dirt. They have made a dramatic change in their rules. One of the topics Kendra has been talking about, we've both been talking about some, is cost savings. They've thrown out the rule book, basically. And so it's going to be interesting to talk to John as well. And then we are going to talk to Bryan Clauson. Of course, Bryan picked up the win in the Jason Leffler Memorial Midget Car Race on Friday night, but also so much more going on. And just want to see how his first season of full-blown kind of wing sprint car racing went and, an aggressive plan that he has in place for next year. So we're glad you joined us. Kendra Jacobs and Steve Post here. You can follow along on Twitter at Wing Nation, Facebook at facebook.com/Wing Nation. We are just ready to roll and ready to go. Alongside, she rolled right in here just in time today. Kendra Jacobs, how are you?
I'm good. It's pouring rain outside. I don't know if you've noticed that. And we've said it before, but North Carolina drivers in the rain, not a good thing, Steve.
No, they're
not
terrible.
a good thing.
No, they're terrible.
So, and actually was on the phone with a driver pulling in. So it's fun to get the different perspectives as the season winds down and what fans are, what not necessarily fans, but people in the sport are asking questions about. And
with curiosity,
it's fun.
did you hear this rumor?
Did you hear this? Have you heard about this? Is this true?
Well,
and I liked that they think that we know everything.
Yeah, because we're sitting here in North Carolina half the time. It's
that's not necessarily.
We are in the desert until next week, of course.
Next week, we might get all the gossip, Steve.
Exactly. So really, really cool. Great program for you coming up. We're just so excited that you joined us here, and so excited those of you joining us on YouTube as well as we continue on. So much cool stuff. Hey, you know what? I want to mention this. We talked about the World Finals, and if you're following along here in order on MRN.com, you heard Ashley and David Stremme. Of course, they're the co-hosts of Slingin' Dirt. Next Friday of World Finals, we have got an incredible show for you from noon till 3 at the Pavilion, which is right across from the drag strip, just down from the dirt track. What we're going to do is this. We're going to go 90 minutes of slinging dirt. So David, Ashley, late models, modifieds, and then we're going to keep right on rolling with 90 minutes of sprint car with Wing Nation. Just as we do on Tuesday, we're going to extend it a little bit, and we are going to go from the Pavilion there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So it is going to be from noon until 3 on next Friday at the Pavilion. Again, Slingin' Dirt, Wing Nation. We're just going to have a great time talking to all of our driver friends across the board. So good stuff. Can't wait to get down there and do it. Kendra, the Valco Racing Wheels results page, World of Outlaws, Saturday night, October 24th at Port Royal Speedway. It was an outlaw sweep of the podium. How about that?
That's what I think is more amazing, is not necessarily that an outlaw driver won,
right,
but swept the top 3. And Danny Dietrich tried, man. He tried to get in the top 3 for the PA. I think he had a mechanical issue he was fighting from like the drop of the green flag and still ended up 4th. So great run by him. But the posse were awfully quiet on social media at the end of Saturday night.
Absolutely.
And they had a whole lot of time to talk, too,
no
because
doubt.
we got done at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it was great. Expedited show, 47 cars, expedited show because there was some rain in the area. All the positive vibes that we continued here from Port Royal came back. Positive in the way the World of Outlaws ran and expedited the show. Brad Sweet picked up the win. Darren Pittman, Donnie Schatz, Danny Dietrich, and Brett Marks, your top 5. So it was an exciting race, and watched a little bit of the video of it. Wow, what a thriller. Brad Sweet wheeling it up there with teammate Darren Pittman.
I mean, Pittman took off there in the middle, and I thought, he's going to get this. And Brad came right back up and stole the win back. So very impressive. And we're actually going to talk to Brad on Wing Nation on MAV TV Saturday and get his perspective of finally getting a win in Posse Land.
Exactly, with crew chief Lee Stauffer, who's a Pennsylvania guy. So I couldn't have hurt him up there, and so it's going to be fun. And, Brad Sweet going to join us this week on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires on MAV TV. That is Saturday morning, 9:30 and 12:30. Now, again, we look at this year, and you're right, the Posse fans were awful quiet. To me, the Posse fans have been quiet since the National Open, though, because we established this last year. It has been a great year for the Posse. I don't know if they're mellowing with age. I don't know if they're hungover still.
Let's not get that optimistic.
I don't know if they're hungover from the National Open still, from 3 days of drinking and no racing. But it was a great season for the Posse overall.
What did we say, 4 out of 6, right?
Yeah, 3 got rained out. There was 9 scheduled. 3 got rained out. So Mother Nature won those.
Mother Nature is an outlaw, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we count her wins,
yes, exactly.
then the Outlaws killed Pennsylvania
this
weekend.
Don't talk those, the Posse did pretty well. 4 wins, 2 outlaw wins. We had Brad Sweet win in Port this past weekend, and Donnie won earlier this year. Donnie Schatz won at Williams Grove. But this year the Morgan Cup, for the first time, went to the Posse. And Stevie Smith won the National Open. So it was a good year for the Posse, but it's been a little quiet out there. And so be it. It is what it is. But I think that's the nature of it. And Kendra, that's the nature of a great rivalry, is that with the Posse dominating or winning most of the races this year, we just know that next year the Outlaws might go in there and sweep it.
Well,
that's the great part about it.
And it's, I love that. You do realize it's the end of October 2015, and we're already talking about the Posse Outlaw rivalry in 2016.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it.
But that, because it's made a name for itself. Rivalries are the best when they're not forced.
Right.
And the PA Outlaw rivalry has never been forced. It's just two great groups of racing that clash 3-4 times a year.
A lot of passion. And the reason rivalries work is both sides can win.
Right.
Yeah, it's great to have a rivalry, but if you go 5 or 6 years with one side winning, you no longer have a rivalry.
And we've said there are other places in the country that could start this.
Exactly.
California's been strong.
Been strong. Yep.
Knoxville could do it, but they've got to step up to the plate. And Brownie has even said someone's going to have to step up and start consistently beating them.
The good news is they've got a 2-night show next year.
Which I've missed
Knoxville.
That show so much.
Yeah, so that's good.
So fun to have a 2-night show back, and I'm sure all the fans out at Knoxville are really happy to get a 2-night. You want a reason to stay overnight at Knoxville again.
Exactly.
You need that reason to go camp out early.
Yes,
so
particularly you, Kendra. You need a reason to stay over.
I need a reason to go to Knoxville and camp out for a few days.
I don't know. There's a new place over there in Knoxville. It's called Dingus. You should check it out next time
I've not been there. I've heard that it's a really good time. This guy named AJ or something it's like the grand social host of Knoxville.
Grand Poobah, yes, exactly. King of the West Series, they raced in Hanford, California. How about Corey Eliason? Career first win for the 24-year-old driver over Mitchell Faquinto, and Bud Kading was third. So good stuff from the King of the West. They continue on. They've got one more race. And Lernerville, it was the Steel City Stampede. Okay, all of these races take on their own flavor. I don't know how they manage this. Lernerville, over 300 cars.
Wait, what?
Over 300 cars. They had every division they've ever raced there.
How long was this race?
Long. In the sprint car portion of it, Brandon Mattis took the win. But it was just a festival of speed up at Lernerville. Got rained out on Saturday. They came back and run Sunday afternoon. So Brandon Mattis won the sprint car portion, and the fans who like racing with 300 cars there saw a lot of it. So wrapping things up at Lernerville, that is your Valco Racing Wheels results page. Made by racers for racers, it's Valco Racing Wheels. www.valco.com. We need to step away. When we come back, we're going to talk with the track champion at I-30 Speedway. He is getting ready to get busy, and he is getting ready to get a whole lot of race cars in his neighborhood. Zach Pringle joins us next.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
The American Sprint Car Series returns for its 24th year. Over 150 events across national and regional schedules, 56 cities, 16 states, and some of the sport's best like Herrera, Swindell, Hafertepe, and Reitzel, along with the next generation of stars. See the full lineup of events at ASCSRacing.com. Get updates on Facebook and Twitter, and catch every Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour event live on RacingBoys.com.
Looking for high-quality replacement parts for your import vehicle? Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and check out the full line of Import Direct OE replacement parts designed for European and Asian vehicles and meet or exceed all OE quality standards for fit, form, and function. Import Direct, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Casey Kane. Now back to Wing Nation.
All right, thank you, Casey. We are having a great time. We are so glad you joined us here on Wing Nation on MRN.com. Joining us first up, he is the track champion at I-30 Speedway in Little Rock, Arkansas. Zach Pringle's on the line. Hello, Zach. Welcome to Wing Nation.
I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
We are fantastic. First off, want to talk about the track championship and all of that. Congratulations. Tell us about your season.
Oh, man, we had a real good year. We were able to win first night out of the box and picked a few more off through the year, and we seemed to always be right there. So all in all, it was a good year. I don't know what to say, man. Everybody behind me stuck with me through. We had a couple bad nights, tore some cars up, but stuff that just wasn't our fault. So it was good, man. Couldn't really ask for a better year.
How early in the season do you start thinking about short track nationals?
Probably as soon as the short track ends the year before.
Wow, yeah.
Around here, man, it's a big deal. You know, you can win local races and you can win some ASCS shows. But this one brings in the best of the best, and if you can top those guys, you can beat just about anybody.
So as you get ready to go here, what's your thoughts? How do you feel about it? Coming off the track championship, coming off wins, are you optimistic about it?
I am. I actually probably feel better this year than I have in a while. It seems the past 2 or 3 years we just had no racing luck. Nothing went my way. All the little bad things that shouldn't happen did happen. I think we've got that all behind us this year. Motors are running good. Cars are working good. Seem to be making the right decisions throughout the night. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think we got all our ducks in a row.
You talk to us about the format and what makes this race so special down there.
The format's tough. Not only do you have to be good, you have to have a little bit of luck. You draw early heat, track's good. Not everybody in the heat can be good. So car needs to be good, and if a car falls out, it can really help. One spot can make a lot of difference. So you can't have any bad races. You have to get all you can get when you can get it and hope for a little bit of luck, and usually leaves you sitting pretty good.
The event, it's the 28th annual Comp Cam Short Track Nationals at I-30. It starts, though, you have Thursday night preliminary, Friday night preliminary, but 3 years ago they added a Short Track National Open. The winner of this, of course, $2,000 to win, but the winner gets the top 4 are eligible. The first one that does not qualify gets a provisional into Saturday night's big race. So, Zach, how do you approach this National Open on Wednesday night?
Well, for me, luckily I won the track championship, so I already have that provisional.
Good for you.
Oh,
nice. Cha-ching, yes.
For me, Wednesday, I feel like our cars are working good, but I don't feel like I can never make them better. So for me, it's going to be more of a test session. We've got some things, been talking to shock people, and we think we're going to try as far as shocks and bars go, just to try and see if we can make it better. So for me, it's just going to be a test session, and hopefully it works, makes us that much better, and add puts a little bit more money in our pocket. So.
Have you ever had the luxury of being able to go to a race some night and treat it as a test session?
I have won. This race is the only one. I've won the championship a couple times before, and kind of used my preliminary nights as test sessions.
Oh, okay,
Just it always seems like competition gets tougher just at this race. Even guys throughout the week, that you race week in and week out with, they seem to step up their game for this race. So anything I can do to make myself better, that's what I'm gonna do.
We've been following along on Twitter. There's a lot of talk and conversation about the short track nationals this weekend. Both Jack and Sheldon Hodenshow just announced they're coming down. This is one of those races where a lot of guys come that have maybe never seen the track before and never raced on it before. I know you don't want to give away your secrets from having raced there all the time, but what does make a perfect lap around this track?
Well, to be honest with you, they put new dirt on the racetrack about a month or so ago, and we've only been able to race on it one night. So to be completely honest, I'm still not 100% on that myself. We had the cars working good on the old track. So to be completely honest, I'm really not sure right now. That's kind of why I'm hoping Wednesday, whatever we do decide to do, works, because we're not for sure what we've been doing is going to work. Obviously, the more you can hold that right foot down, the better. But at the same time, sometimes you slow down, you get faster. So I don't know. Them two are both going to be on the gas. So
yeah, hot and shield on the gas. That kind of goes together.
Yeah. So if the track stays pretty good and heavy and builds up a cushion, which it's been known to do, I don't see those guys having any problem.
Yeah, they'll use it.
And I like that myself. I don't really like it so much when it slows down and yes, putt around the bottom. But part of it, you got to be good at the bottom and the top. So we'll see.
For sure. We're chatting with Zach Pringle here. He's the reigning track champ at I-30 Speedway. Zach, I'm going to ask you a question. We ask a lot of Knoxville regulars this question going into the Knoxville Nationals. The question is, this is a big event. Drivers, fans from all across the country, all across the world are going to be there. There's going to be parties going on. There's a trade show. There's all of this stuff. Do you get wrapped up in all of the fun stuff around it, or do you try to hibernate and just focus on your own deal?
Well, I definitely try and focus on my own program and keeping my head clean. A race like this, man, it's a lot of how bad you want it. But at the same time, it's a big event. It's once a year. Not going to say we don't let loose a little bit and have a little bit of fun, because if this wasn't fun, I wouldn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But, the Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, I'm probably going to keep my head a little clean, and hopefully Saturday we have a good enough night where we can celebrate a little bit.
Yeah, so Steve and I have never had the luxury of going to this race.
List race for
so
us.
We know kind of the personality around Kings Royal and where everyone hangs out. We know the personality around Knoxville and what the after race antics are out there. What is the personality of the short track nationals? What does everyone do for fun there?
A lot of cooking and a lot of drinking.
Whoa! You just made us like, oh, we're going. That's.
We're in the part of the world where people like to drink beer and do some grilling. So I would say everybody, more than likely, everybody's going to bring their camper out, break out the grill, cook 2 or 3 good, really nice meals a day, and drink some beers and just sit back and hopefully enjoy a good race.
Boy, now that sounds like a winner. Okay, we're either getting thrown under the bus or you're getting thrown under the bus. Some guy by the name of Garage Beer, Darren, writes in and says, can you ask Zach what his favorite snack food is?
Oh, man. Well, I hate to say it like this.
I know where we're going with this.
I like the Pringles chips.
That's right.
I get it.
As soon as I read the question, I read the question, and then it hit me what Garage Beer was doing here with that. So, so you do like Pringles?
I do. As a matter of fact, I do. They've got a bunch of different flavors, and I like just about all of them.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Zach, we're going to be following along. Those that cannot make it to I-30 Speedway, the Cushion has the coverage, the pay-per-view. So check out the Cushion. Zach, we wish you the best. Thanks for your time joining us here. Congratulations on a great season, and have fun out there this weekend and see what you can do with them.
All right, guys. I sure do appreciate it.
There we go. That's Zach Pringle. Wow. What a cool kid that is.
Yeah, the Pringle thing. I'm a little slow on that, but that was really clever.
I didn't get it until after as soon as I got to the end of the question and Zach didn't indicate that he knew the guy. I'm like, aha.
Oh,
I see what you did there, Garage Beer.
There's a catch here.
I see what you did there, Garage Beer. I see what you did. So, but Kendra, this event, they cook, they drink, and they race sprint cars.
I almost said, well, you got Steve on the cooking, but then that made, I was like, oh, wait, you got me on the drinking, but that sounds really bad for me. But,
yeah, it does, because I don't drink at all.
But no, I mean, it sounds like a really good time. And Steve, every year we add another big event that we say we got to get to that.
We got to get to. It's the 28th annual Comp Cam Short Track National I-30 Speedway. Again, the cushion has it. And that interview with Zach Pringle brought to you by Lucas Oil, ASCS National Tour presented by MAV TV. Congratulating Aaron Reitzel on the championship. Reitzel able to lock it up. Wayne Johnson, Johnny Herrera, Seth Bergman, Matt Covington, your top 5. And this weekend is a Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour event. We need to step away. When we come back, we're going to talk sprints on dirt and what they're doing with their rules. This is going to be fascinating. John Naida going to join us next.
This is Winged Nation on MRN.com. Steve and Kendra will be right back.
Racers, that's who Valco wheels are. That's who they know, and racing is what they know. Valco Wheels focuses oval track and grassroots racing and understand racers need a quality wheel that fits your budget. With over 25 years experience, Valco Wheels produces the best product and give you face-to-face support and customer service at the track. Fast delivery, innovative products, problem solving. Find Valco Wheels at Valco.com on Twitter or Facebook, or call Valco Wheels at 609-758-7013. Valco Wheels.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa. Your destination for sprint car history. Check out the Salute to Champion Doug Wolfgang exhibit, featuring 5 of Doug's sprint cars, all 5 of his winning Knoxville Nationals trophies, as well as helmets, uniforms, and other Wolfgang memorabilia. Also check out Damian Gardner's world's fastest sprint car that the Demon drove at 211 miles per hour at Bonneville. Open 7 days a week all year in the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville, Iowa. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon, and now back to Wing Nation.
Thank you, Jeff. Welcome back, everyone. We're having a great time. You know, Kendra, one of the topics that we've been kicking around a lot here, and we kick around in the sport, and every facet of racing kicks this around. They talk about it in NASCAR, they talk about it in street stocks, and we talk about it in sprint cars, is cost of racing and how this all works. And so cost of racing is an interesting discussion. And then we have the sprints on dirt. And Kendra, I actually saw the sprints on dirt a couple years ago up in Michigan. Great 360 tour up in that part of the country. Michigan, a little bit in Ohio, Indiana. These guys put on some great races. They really do a good job. But they announce that in 2016, no engine rules, no weight rules. And there's a lot of other parts that go into this. We need to get some clarification on this. We need to find out a little bit more about this. Joining us is the president of the Sprints on Dirt. John Naida is on the line. Hello, John. Welcome to Wing Nation.
Hi, Steve and Kendra.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time. First off, just where did this, just give us the overview on what you're doing with the rules, or in some cases lack of rules, going into next year.
Okay. Well, I've been working on this for about 3 years. I've been watching everything going on in the sport, quietly standing in the background, watching car counts. And although car counts aren't terrible, there's no denying that here and there are poor car counts, and that the general trend is somewhat downward. So I came up with some ideas, put my plan together, and when I first informed our title sponsor, Engine Pro, about Saab's new unlimited sprint car format, there was silence. I think they were maybe a little bit shocked, perhaps. It didn't take long, however, for them to see the tremendous potential and enthusiastically support us once again as Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt, presented by ARP.
I have so many questions with this because it's so unconventional to have rules that are basically, there are no rules. So what has, for the drivers in the series and the team owners, what has been the feedback from them when this rule announcement came out?
There have been some good, Kendra. There have been some bad. There have been a few bad, but let me give you a little bit of a perspective of things. I went to the Fremont Speedway swap meet Saturday. We talked to 24 drivers. We asked them, would you support Saab? We didn't say, are you going to support us 100%? We said, will you come race with us in 2016? And out of that group, only 2 said no. I'm sure if you ask somebody else, they'll give you a different answer. But, that's the perspective we got from there. And the feedback we're getting from drivers up in our area has also been pretty good. So, as you well know, until you get to the racetrack, it's hard to tell for sure.
John, how do you, because we're going to have, I like one of the discussions that I saw, and Kendra and I have talked about this, 305, 360, 358, 410s, we got way too many sprint cars. We're all there. But how does this work for a guy that maybe has a 305 size engine? How does this work where he believes he can come to one of your races, or even a guy with a 360 if a bunch of 410s are showing up and have a shot? How does that work?
Well, what you have to keep in mind, Steve, the one thing you can change on a sprint car quickly, and that will impact performance, is tires.
Okay.
Obviously, the tires are locking the cars down pretty well right now. We got together with Hoosier and asked them to develop tires that would meet our objectives to unhook the cars. Hoosier produced the tires, and we went out and did some testing. Unfortunately, we didn't have a 305 available, but we tested with 360s and 410s, and we got excellent results. Tires are a great equalizer. In case you haven't noticed, Dirt Car's new Pro Sprint division has announced spec tires, not exactly the same as ours, but very similar. So what we're doing, Steve, we're trying to break that mindset of 305, 360, 410. If somebody tells us, well, I believe I need all the power I can get, I'm going to go out and buy a killer 410. Our response, why not a 427? Why not a 454? So we're trying to get people out of that mindset. And on some tracks, let's take a track like Eldora or Williams Grove. Obviously, it's going to be different than our small quarter and third mile tracks that are predominant in our area.
One of the questions I have, and forgive me, John, because I'm so conditioned by having rules, and I think that this is going to be a lot of what fans think too, is that we're so used to rules that this feels uncomfortable. But how does this stop the rich from becoming richer? The guys who can spend and can get the big stuff and can get the 425 engines, how does it stop those guys from just dominating the competition of the startup teams that are just struggling to get by?
Well, that's a good question, Kendra. And in all honesty, to completely resolve that issue is impossible. But here's our situation. To begin with, the big horsepower is not going to help. So if you want to spend a lot more money for a mid-horsepower engine, you can do that. That's fine. If you don't know how to drive, you're going to have a little bit of a problem no matter what engine you have. But our situation, we're going to have one specific right rear tire, one specific left rear tire. So the average racer can pull into the racetrack, buy one left rear tire, and he is on an equal playing field as far as tires go with, the most well-off team. Most guys, as you know now, if you look in their trailers or you watch them at the track, they're going to go through at least 3 or 4 different left rear tires in the night. Here it's going to be one tire. That's it.
So the tire is the great equalizer on the horsepower and everything. You have no weight rule on that. Is there any concern going forward? How do you address safety with that weight rule? How do you balance that out?
Good question, Steve. Since we have no weight rule, we obviously have had dire predictions of unsafe cars. But is the weight rule really a benchmark for safety? Let's say if you have a series with a 1,500-pound weight rule, is a 1,400-pound car unsafe, but a 1,600-pound car is unsafe? Of course not. Realistically, the weight rules, in my opinion, have more to do with trying to control costs, maybe not doing it effectively, but trying to, but not so much to do with safety. In our situation, we do not have a weight rule, but we will be weighing cars because we want to collect data. We want to see what works and what doesn't work. But also, if somebody comes in with an 1,100-pound sprint car, we want to know how they got there. We will check the wall thickness on the roll cage or, wall thickness somewhere else, or we'll see if they've drilled holes and everything. And if they're not safe, they're not going to race with us. In all reality, our safety rules are probably going to be more strict than most places people race.
Yeah, how are you going to do that? So if there's no rules and people come in running whatever they want, do you still have somewhat of unwritten safety rules? Like you will check belts, you will check helmets, you will check seats, you will make sure there isn't holes being drilled into the structure of the car, making them weak. How will you guys do that without actually having rules in place for that?
Okay, well, we're not entirely rule-free. We do have specific rules. The helmets need to meet specifications. The seat belts need to meet specifications. It's not completely open in that respect. Now, beyond that, when you start looking at race cars, when you check the wall thickness of a roll cage, so to speak, you find out somebody's there with a roll cage that is 20 thousandths thick. Obviously, there's no way in the world that's going to be a safe race car. That race car will be banned from SOD. Other issues, in general, people involved with sprint car racing know what the general safety rules are. We'll stick with those, and decisions as far as safety of a race car will be final on our part. If somebody wants to protest it, object to it, they can go out and they can get an affidavit that says they swear that their race car is safe and they can prove it. Then we can go from there. But we are going to be very, very particular about safety.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone could actually say a sprint car is safe.
There's
no way you could actually say, hey, this car that goes like 130 miles an hour is safe.
Yeah.
But
it's fascinating.
It's really interesting.
I love that somebody's trying something here, okay? Because we wring our hands and we have these meetings, and I don't know, John, this may be the greatest thing since sliced bread, or you might get halfway through next year and say, aye, what have I done? But you're out there trying things. We've talked a little bit about the drivers. We've talked a little bit about the rules. Your tracks, your schedule, how are things coming together for next season then?
They're coming together quite well. We just had a Michigan Speedway Promoters Association meeting just last week where we met with a lot of our promoters. We're firming up our dates. We're working on other dates into Ohio and Indiana. We don't want to go too far. We don't want to stray too far out of Michigan. Technically, we're a Michigan group, but in reality, we like to get out a little bit beyond the borders. But for the most part, racers do not want to travel very far. It's too expensive for them.
We just had a really good question come across Twitter. A fan, Jacob Weaver, asked, with the rule changes being drastically different from other series, does this mean no more co-sanctioned events with the NRA?
Yes, it does. Yes. There are no co-sanctions with the NRA. However, let me clarify that. A year ago, the Michigan co-sanctions disappeared because the people running with the NRA did not want to travel as far. We still had our co-sanctions with NRA in 2015, but it was evident that was going to come to an end anyway. Now, let me say this. We have a great relationship with NRA. We like everybody down there. The two organizations worked well together. But from the co-sanction standpoint, we knew what was coming. We saw it coming on both sides. So in reality, I don't think our rule changes really had much of an effect in that area.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's when you're a regional tour, it's tough to get guys to travel either way because you're dealing with regional racers. You're not talking with the full-blown cup-owned teams as far as that goes. Well, John, I'm going to tell you something. This is fascinating, and we've got things fired up on Twitter a little bit.
It's great.
I'm one of these people that I love people that will take a chance and try something. So I certainly personally wish you the best on this. We're going to be following along, and maybe after the first of the year, we'll touch base with you again and see as your schedule's coming out, how it's going, and where we're at further down the road. But congratulations on changing things up, and we wish you the best.
Hey, I think what we really need is a meaningful discussion of this issue at some place like PRA, and maybe somebody, hint, can set that up.
That's not a, and that's the challenges, and maybe PRI is a great place to sit down and have a little bit of a further discussion with us. And I agree. The challenge, we all talk about all of these things, and nobody does anything about it, or very little is done. And so I salute you on that, and we can maybe catch up and chat further down the road.
Definitely.
John, thank you. We appreciate it. That's great.
Thank you.
Fascinating. It really is. I come from, Kendra, just a little bit of a background. Here's where I really have a lot of respect for what John is doing. When I was doing the dirt modified stuff, we were at a place called Penn Can Speedway, and we were a Friday night racetrack. On Saturday nights, within 90 miles of us, we had 5 different types of modifieds. We had 320s, we had 320 alcohol injected, we had 358s, 358 alcohol injected in the big block, the 454s. And our promoter, Seward Rice, who really did a nice job, he went out with the goal of, I need 5 cars from all 10 of these tracks to be able to compete at my racetrack. Now, what he used as the equalizer, he didn't use tires as they're doing. He used weight. So, in other words, if you ran a 320 on alcohol, you had to weigh this. If you ran a 454, you had to weigh this. Penn Can Speedway that year averaged 58 dirt modifieds on a Friday night and really did well. So I like the idea of trying to find ways to tear down these boundaries. Well, this 320 guy can't run against the 454 guy. This 305 or this 360 guy can't run against the 410 guy. I like tearing down boundaries. It's a big move, though. It's going to be interesting to see. But I like the idea of it, and I'm going to be fascinated to watch what they do.
Yeah, it's interesting. And like I said, I am very conditioned by rules.
Well, we are.
So
yes.
I'll admit I'm a skeptic of this.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see how it works, how it transfers to fans to understand, because we'd think this would be easier to understand, that there are no rules. In fact, I think it makes it harder to understand. Well, what about this? What about this? I don't know what this means.
Because we are conditioned by rules. We live in a rule. We live in a government, the states, federal rules.
So, yeah, it's like what? So it's going to be anarchy. Like people can do whatever they want. They don't have to listen to anything.
I love anarchy. So hey, it's fascinating. It's a great discussion. Keep that conversation going on Twitter and on Facebook. We'll talk about it a little bit later on as well. That visit with John was brought to you by Classic Ink Screen Printing and Embroidery. More than just T-shirts and sweatshirts. They've got everything from hats to golf bags. They even do golf balls. They even do golf balls with a logo on them. They'll do everything for you. Bryan will do everything for you. You can find out more at ClassicInkUSA.com. That's ClassicInkUSA.com. When we come back, Chevy Clauson's dad, Bryan, he joins us next.
Hi, I'm Craig Kinzer, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Looking for high-quality replacement parts for your import vehicle? Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and check out the full line of Import Direct OE replacement parts designed for European and Asian vehicles and meet or exceed all OE quality standards for fit, form, and function. Import Direct, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The new standard in race car screen printing and embroidery, Classic Ink USA. Full custom race car track swag apparel, quality customer service, and the industry's finest graphic designers, assuring quick turnaround and the highest customer satisfaction. See the latest designs at ClassicInkUSA.com, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or call us 724-482-6224. Serving racers and their teams, all divisions, all over the world. Classic Ink USA, at the track and on your back.
I'm Kyle Larson, and now I'm Kyle Larson, now back to Wing Nation with Stephen Kendra. I'm Kyle Larson, now back to Wing Nation with Stephen Kendra.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Welcome back, everyone. Having a great time, and the conversation continues on Wing Nation on Twitter. Very fascinating stuff. Good stuff. Let's go to the guest line, the guy that parked it in the circle at the Jason Leffler Memorial up in Illinois on Friday night. Bryan Clauson joins us. Hello, Bryan. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Congratulations on that win. First off, we'll talk a lot about sprint cars and everything else, but you were able to put the midget into victory lane. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was obviously a great race to win, not only because of the prize check it carried, but obviously a race that meant a lot to a lot of people, and it continues to get bigger and bigger each year. Doug Stringer and his group over there have done a great job building that race, and like I said, Jason was close to a lot of people in that pit area, so certainly special to put our name on that trophy.
It sounds like it was a great race between you and Rico. Their slide jobs pushing each other back and forth. How fun is it out there to be racing your friends? I mean, I have to think under those helmets, you guys are grinning from ear to ear.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun, and I think it's one of those races. If you have to sit down and show a video to up and coming guys of how you race and how you execute a slide job and things like that, it'd certainly be a great teaching tool, because there was I think we traded the lead probably 15, 20 times in the last 20 laps and back and forth, and I'm pretty certain we never touched. So it was a lot of fun, and he did a great job. I've picked up a lot of tricks over my time in doing this, and I had to use every one of them to hold them off.
That's cool. That is really cool. Bryan, we've kind of chatted with you over the last couple of years. You were an umpteen zillion-time USAC champion, had so much success there, and still obviously can wheel a midget or a sprint car without a wing on it. But we've chatted over the last few years about becoming and working your way into a wing sprint car driver. A couple of years down the road, how would you assess your skills? How would you assess yourself as a wing sprint car driver now?
We're certainly getting there. Obviously, we picked up the win at I-80 with the NSL series or at the finale there, or I guess the race before the finale, but there last weekend. And obviously that was a huge goal for us, running that deal all year long. And anytime you can win a race and the guy standing next to you on the front straightaway or Lasowski and McCarl, it's pretty cool, and kind of shows how far we've come over the last 2 years, and being a legitimate wing sprint car driver.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to you a little bit about this at Knoxville, but we've had a couple months later. You're planning 200 races next year. In those 2 months, have you changed your mind? Have you looked at that schedule and said, "Oh, no, it's not going to work"?
No, I haven't, not yet. Probably because the schedules haven't really come out yet, and I haven't really been able to put pen to paper too much. But no, it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, it's just a lot more doubling up on nights and things like that. So the race event number will certainly be up, but it'll just be a lot more doubling up and racing as much as I can. And that's what I love to do. So I haven't had to talk myself into it too much.
When I look at this year, and I'm looking at your website, BryanClauson.com, your race stats for this year, you've raced 99 times. So you think you can double that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously we, at some point, weather's going to have to cooperate.
Sure.
Yeah. But we didn't go to Florida with the wing car, so there's a handful of them there. We're planning on doing some Pennsylvania Speed Week. So you get another handful there. There's some nights that I just plain took off just because. And the way it'll be structured this year, it'll be, traveling will be a little bit easier and things like that. And there won't be such a burden. I was driving back and forth to basically Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, from Indy every week, which was 10 hours each way. So. That was the hardest part for me. Was doing that. If the way it's structured, we'll have a motorhome and be able to kind of go place to place and not have to, necessarily log, hour after hour, back and forth from home. It'll be a little bit more kind of structured to where travel's a little bit easier on me.
Yeah, I saw this week you posted a picture of your new home, and I was like, does he know he's never going to see that? Like, he's never going to see this house he just got.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's kind of bad timing, but at the same time, it'll be a great place when I am around home to enjoy. And obviously, next year's a big year, but obviously looking further down the road for having a place to kind of settle down.
Well, I'm sure Chevy and Stewart will love it. even if you're not around.
They think it's awesome.
Great. Well, so we've got the World Finals coming up next week, which Steve and I are so excited about because we finally get to stay at home for a race. Are you guys going to come down here and show what you got in Charlotte?
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna make the tow. The guys are gonna make the tow from Kansas City, and obviously we'll be coming from Indy, and obviously be the last race of the year for us on the wing side of things, and it's kind of a good judge of we ran with the Outlaws kind of intermittently throughout the year, and it'll be a good judge to see where we need to get better going into next season, and actually we've had some time. I said really throughout the year that we kind of felt like we were behind all year. We hired Shane Bowers in March, so we really haven't had the opportunity to kind of get ourselves in order and get situated. Really, we've kind of just been trying to do it on the fly. So the guys have gotten to take the last month and 3 weeks and start working on some things and getting prepared for next year. We can kind of bring some of that stuff out at Charlotte and see how we're looking.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be fun. It really is. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens at the dirt track next week, and then I can't wait to see next year's schedule. Now, so you're just trolling websites trying to find any dates, any schedule. When PRI comes, you're probably going to be an overload because that's when they release most of them, and so that's what you're doing.
Yeah, PRI will be that'll kind of be the big. Everybody kind of releases schedules, and that'll be kind of the. Shortly that next week, we'll be able to kind of put something out, a rough estimate. Obviously, things trickle in and out, and there'll be times where we'll have multiple, races kind of set up on certain dates that, especially early in the year, with the way weather usually is, that we can kind of go either or. And so it'll be fun. It'll be a job in itself planning it all, but things have trickled out, obviously. Nationals and some of the I think Eldor's put some of their major events out already. So we've got some stuff on the calendar a little bit, but obviously the meat and potatoes of it will come out at PRI.
Yeah, I know one of the big races you have circled for next year is the Chili Bowl in January, always a huge event. But that week starts for you on Monday because you started an event last year, Racers for Autism, announced not too long ago. You guys are going to do that again next year. Tell us about that event and why autism means so much to you.
Yeah, we're excited to bring it back. We kind of started it last year, not really sure how it was going to go or really what we were doing to some degree. And, it clicked off, in our eyes was a huge success. We donated over $40,000 to the Autism Society of America, and it's kind of kicked off a really cool relationship between myself and the Autism Society of America. And, we got to do some cool things around Indianapolis where we brought a group of autists or families that have autism in them and out to the racetrack, and had brought some of them to the race on race day. So we've got to do some kind of fun stuff. But my buddy Ben, I went to high school with him. He's been a close friend of mine for forever. He's on the spectrum, and so that's kind of the tie. And he's probably my number one. Well, there's no doubt he's my number one fan, and is at a lot of races. He's actually at Chili Bowl. Goes to Chili Bowl every year, and it's a lot of fun. So he kind of views it as his party, but he's the driving force behind it, and it's something that's special for to us, and we're excited to bring it back. Obviously, hoping to make it bigger and better. We learned on some things last year, and just kind of restructured some stuff, but it'll be a lot of the same. Silent auction. Last year we had an open beer bar, so that's going again, and actually have curb record artist Tim Duggar, who's obviously really big. If you pay attention, he plays at a lot of NASCAR races and things like that. So we're excited to have him as our live entertainment for the night. So it'll be a lot of fun, and it's just a great way to kind of kick off obviously a really fun and intense week of racing, but kind of kicks it off with a good cause on Monday night.
Well, we salute you in that as well. That is fantastic what you do with the autism organization or the organizations that work through autism, and what you do to support those folks dealing with that brutal disease. Bryan, I'll tell you what, continued success. Congratulations on the win Friday night. We'll look forward to catching up with you next week here in Charlotte, but thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
There we go. That's Bryan Clauson. Busy race car driver.
200 races. I almost just want to go for like the first week just to see what it's going to be like, because then I can go, okay, not for me, man.
No, I'm just going to follow along online, and I'll still be tired.
It's going to be amazing. Do you know, like, 200 races, even if you win 25%, you're looking at 50 wins.
Well, he has 99 races this year, 39 top fives.
That's crazy.
That's a pretty good year right there.
Yeah, and this is a guy who's like, oh, I'm trying to figure out the winged stuff. I mean, like he is one of those drivers that can get in anything and win, and he's so impressive.
And another place he will get to at some point is the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
As we all will.
And Museum in Knoxville, Iowa. But he won't have to pay admission to get in there because once he reaches that eligibility with all of his success, particularly in non-wing sprint car racing, and who knows what he's going to do in wing cars.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be there. They are doing the Expand the Dream, facility expansion, and endowment campaign. You can find out more about that at sprintcarhof.com. I love this week's featured Hall of Famer. Okay, Kendra? We've got birthdays. Jack Miller on Sunday, Bob Fry. Sammy Swindell's birthday was Monday. Brian Tyler's birthday today. Saturday, Tom Bigelow, Tom Brewer Jr., and David Carday. Okay? Jack Miller, birthday on Sunday. Okay? 2001 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. This guy raced motorcycles. When he would fail to qualify for the feature, you know what he would do? He would go up to the announcer's booth and announce. And he would talk about it. In the late 1950s, he became a traveling announcer in the Midwest. Ultimately, that would take him to Knoxville Raceway with a Joey Chitwood thrill show with Evel Knievel, and he was the first World of Outlaws announcer when Ted Johnson started the greatest show on dirt. So, unfortunately, we lost him in 2010, passed away, retired in Florida, still worked at East Bay a lot down there. But we're saluting Jack Miller, 2001 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame as an announcer. I love that.
He was the host of the Queen's Contest at Knoxville the year I was Queen.
Was he really?
Yeah, he used to host all the Queen's Contests. But yeah, I remember especially him for that.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Very cool guy.
Jack is enshrined in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Again, information, sprintcarhof.com. Stay with us. Our Kick It Driver of the Week and a whole lot more coming up.
This is Tony Stewart. Kendra and Steve will be right back with more Wing Nation here on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon. Did you know that 43 children are diagnosed with cancer each and every day? That more children die from cancer than any other disease. Athletes of all ages are dedicating their stats to change these stats, and you can too. Visit JeffGordonChildren'sFoundation.org to become a Kick It champion. No matter what your sport, you can use your points, laps, or goals to change the odds for kids with cancer. Make your stats really count. Become a Kick It champion.
O'Reilly. Looking for high-quality replacement parts for your import vehicle? Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and check out the full line of Import Direct OE replacement parts designed for European and Asian vehicles and meet or exceed all OE quality standards for fit, form, and function. Import Direct, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to Winged Nation on MRN.com. Talking more dirt, here's Steve and Kendra.
Welcome back. We are having a great time. We are glad you joined us here on the program. It is time for our Kick It Driver of the Week. So, Kendra, who do we have? What do we have?
Well, this one, we talked to him not too long ago on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires on MAV TV. And last night, a video came out of him speaking with Robin Miller as well. And it's Kevin Swindell. Yeah. And everything he's going through right now, of course, so much of the racing community backing him and supporting him through his struggles and getting over this injury from the wreck in Knoxville this year. And he's just been so optimistic.
Yes, he has.
And really has been a driving force. And he talked to us about it a little bit, too, of working with manufacturers to improve the safety of what happened to him to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone again. So someone who could be focusing only on himself right now is projecting outward and focusing on the series as a whole, the sport as a whole, and making sure this doesn't happen to any of his fellow competitors, which is the definition of what we say when someone's a driver of the week. So this week's driver of the week, Kevin Swindell.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Very, very cool stuff. That's for sure. This week on MAV TV, Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Brad Sweet going to join us on Saturday morning, 9:30, 12:30 on Saturday afternoon. Kendra, the big one, Coming up this weekend is the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour presented by MAV TV. It's the 28th annual Comp Cams Short Track Nationals at I-30 Speedway in Little Rock. Wednesday, the 3rd annual Short Track National Open. Thursday and Friday, prelim nights. Saturday, C and B mains. $15,000 to win. Kendra, right now, 81 entries from 17 states in Canada. Former winners entered: Jason Johnson, Jason Sides, Wayne Johnson, Tim Crowley, and Tony Brute Jr. But listen to this who's who will be in Little Rock. Shane Stewart, Terry McCarl, Jack and Sheldon Hodenshield, Chad Kemenaugh, Derek Hagar, Dusty Zomer, Stevie Smith, Aaron Reitzel, Johnny Herrera, Tim Schaefer, Billy Baylog, and a whole lot more.
It's a great race. And it's like the perfect storm with no World of Outlaws race this weekend. That frees people up. A lot of track championships are done now.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of has this weekend free. Why not? You know, these racers who do not get much off time, they get some now. Why not go spend it racing?
Why not go do it? So if you can't join them there, thecushion.com has the pay-per-view, The Cushion. And then next week is the World Finals. And again, we've got 2 live shows next week. We told you about the first one. And the first one is Friday from noon until 3. We're doing noon till 1:30 is Sling and Dirt. Ashley and David Stremme going to talk dirt late models, dirt modifieds. And from 1:30 to 3, it's going to be Wing Nation talking sprint cars, okay? And we're doing this at the pavilion right down from the dirt track across from the drag strip. It's going to be so exciting. You can follow along. We'll be at mrn.com. We're doing the show it's going to be broadcast, but you need to join us there. And then on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, just north of the Speedway, Punchy Whitaker's Wheel and Tire Pros. Okay, Punchy's a legend in Concord. They're a Hercules tire dealer. We're going to have Greg Wilson, his car, show car, all of that stuff out there. We're going to do a 1-hour show from Punchy Whitaker's on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Fantastic.
I love it. So technically we have 5 shows next week.
I think so.
2 on MAV TV Saturday, our radio show Tuesdays like normal, our hour-and-a-half special on Friday, and another hour live special Saturday.
Saturday, yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk all kinds of sprint car racing.
I hope there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, there'll be. It's the World Finals.
Yeah.
Holy
we can't talk about what goes on after the races end, Steve.
No, not at all.
What happens after the races
That's right.
Stays in the vault.
Well, you know what they say. What happens in Concord stays in Concord.
Yes, so many people say that. There's T-shirts.
Absolutely. There's T-shirts. Exactly.
Concord, North Carolina. You never know what can happen in Concord.
The mecca of all things wild and crazy. Concord, North Carolina. So cool. All the latest results, all the latest news, MRN.com. And, of course, our friends at MAV TV. This weekend, they're showing the Knoxville Nationals again.
Hey, I'll watch it again.
Going to be fun stuff. It really
I wonder
is.
who wins that.
I'll bet you.
Did you just say the Scottsville Nationals?
Yeah,
the Scottsville Nationals. Gotcha.
Thanks to Zach Pringle. Thanks to John Naida. And thanks to Bryan Clauson for joining us. But more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation.
You've been listening to the nation's premier winged sprint car radio program, Winged Nation. Tune in next Tuesday at noon for more talk from the dirt tracks. Winged Nation is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center or download from iTunes or Stitcher. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.